Time for Business Lunch with Lindie Malan. This program brought to you courtesy of Venture Workspace at the Sanctuary in Somerset West. Your local co-working office space offering hot desking, virtual offices, meeting rooms and fully serviced offices. Venture Workspace helps your business grow with the flexibility and affordability you need. Always on internet access and reception support allows you to communicate your business matters effectively and efficiently. For more info, contact 021 035 1400 or visit www.ventureworkspace.co.za. En sy is in die ateljee. Lindie, gaan dit goed?
Uitstekend, dankie. En ek seker dit gaan sommer baie goed met almal daar buite.
Ek is seker ek ruik die naweek, so the weekend is upon us. So on Thursdays I normally smell the weekend.
There we go.
Maar ek kan nie wag nie. You've got a guest here today and I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say. Please introduce her.
Thank you so much. And of course, couldn't wait for today. I'm joined by Phillipa. She's the CEO founder of Recruit My Mom, Recruiter Graduates. And just a quick introduction, if I may. So Phillipa, you graduated from UCT, we don't want to know how many years ago, but I want to say this, you've packed a whole lifetime into a couple of years, and I'm actually getting goosebumps. So from a corporate career with Procter & Gamble nationally, you were internationally also engaged in corporate in the corporate environment. I just want to say this is how impressive this woman is, Kirsty. She's been the winner of several business awards. I want to name a couple. Santam Fair Lady, Women of the Future winner of the Future winner, yeah, something like that, no?
Yeah.
Excuse, I've got getting this wrong. Santam Fair Lady, Women of the Future. She was the winner in 2019. Finalist F&B Innovation Award in 2019. Job Creator of the Year winner in 2018. Small Business Entrepreneur. And so it goes on. Phillipa is also an EY Winning Women Program graduate since 2019, and so the list continues. It's impressive.
Absolutely.
But she's also a mom of two, and she does all of this packed into a day. So we'll get to that. But Phillipa, a big welcome. So of course, the first question I have is, you know, successful in corporate, and then somewhere along the line, I don't know when it happened, but I'm curious to know, where did it all start for you to have the idea about starting this business called Recruit My Mom?
Well, first of all, Lindie, thank you for inviting me to the show. It's really lovely to be here, and also because it's in my local basin, which is just even better. So where did it all start? It's based on my personal story. So as you mentioned, I had worked in corporate locally and internationally. And a point came in time where I felt that my age was against me and I needed to think about having children. And thankfully at that point I did fall pregnant. But what I didn't know was that my son was going to surprise me with a 6-week early entry into this world.
Don't they just like to surprise us with these curveballs?
So that threw my world into disarray. And I ended up having a career break for a number of years where I had my son. Thankfully, he was healthy. And I later on then had my daughter. And when she was about 2.5, I was starting to miss the workplace. But I knew that I didn't want to go back into corporate in the way that I had been. Those very long, sometimes 11, 12-hour days. And
if you're lucky.
If you're lucky, yes, exactly. And so like many women, I started consulting. I was doing marketing consulting, and I was finding flexibility that way. But what I started to notice was that many businesses needed skills like mine on a more flexible basis, but they didn't know where to find women like me who had got a university degree, had corporate experience or other great experience. And so there was this gap in the market. And from the women's side, there were many skilled moms who would love to work, but didn't necessarily want to be in office from 8 till 5. And so that's where the idea came from, was to, well, could I put together some kind of recruitment agency online that was national that could attract both employers and skilled moms, and the two could match. And so that's where the idea came from.
And this is now, and it's, sometimes we wonder where great ideas come from, but it's often born from our own stories, like you've just said, And so how many years ago was this, Phillipa?
So last year we celebrated our 10th anniversary of Recruit My Mom.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
Yeah,
Congrats.
Thank you. But I think what people don't talk about is you probably have 2 years before that.
Yes.
Before the business is actually up and running.
Yes. Yes. So it's actually more than that.
Yes.
Because there's a preparation. We've got a concept idea, got to put it together in a business model, and then it gets born and off you go, right?
That is right. Yeah. So you've got the pregnancy stage of your business. Yeah. And then you've got the delivery date, and then you've got to manage this child, which becomes a teenager. And you've got to get this child
out of diapers.
Exactly.
And, and all sorts of teething problems, which I'll definitely want to get back to. You've alluded to what the focus area of Recruit My Mom. So it's professional women, right? With all sorts of skills all over industry base. And so how does it actually work? And then I'd also like to touch on the other focus, which is Recruit a Graduate. But maybe we must just look at Recruit My Mom exactly. Any specifics that we need to know how this work?
Yeah. So Recruit My Mom, when we launched, was very much about placing women into jobs where the employers offered a level of flexibility. So flexibility comes in time or place.
Okay.
And so if an employer offered some time flexibility or place where they could work flexibility, those were the kinds of jobs we worked on. COVID changed a lot. Suddenly employers were mostly, there's very, very few employers who now no longer offer any flexibility.
So it's actually become a perk, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's on the table to start off with.
Absolutely. And it's a benefit that employers are using to attract top talent.
Yeah, and keep them, right?
Yeah, that is right. So now we find ourselves working a lot with employers who are looking for skilled women who recognize that mothers are loyal, skilled, highly effective, efficient in what they do, and they respect them as mothers. And so if you have a full-time job, but you have a level of flexibility, whatever that is, and nowadays most companies have, we work across the board. So that's the concept. We're about skilled mothers, about employers recognizing that these women have got amazing talents, from administrators up to C-suite. So we'll place financial directors, we place general managers, CEOs, but we also place virtual assistants, bookkeepers, anything to do with marketing. Yeah.
So that's just amazing. Because when we come back, I'd like to know about the graduate program as well. And we'll talk a little bit about her journey as an entrepreneur.
And also find out when she's going to start Recruit My Dad. So all of that.
Well, there's an idea, shall we? Or Recruit My Granny, or, whoever. Kind of there's all sorts of pockets out there.
Back with Business Lunch with Lindie Malan straight after this. Yes, Business Lunch with Lindie, brought to you courtesy of Venture Workspace at the Sanctuary in Somerset West. Lindie, I can't wait. The Recruit My Dad thing. Oh, you're not going to talk about that now? Okay,
not
but later.
Now.
Okay.
We've got a lot to get through. So, Phillipa, we did briefly mention also the other focus, which is Recruit a Graduate. Can you just give us some idea what that's about, and why is that added to your already full plate?
So let me tell you what it is first, which is it's a recruitment platform that specifically focuses in on graduates. So employers are looking for fresh graduates who have anything from 0 to up to 5 years experience. So what I wanted to create with both Recruit My Mom and Recruit a Graduate was that the elephant is in the room when an employer approaches us. So with Recruit My Mom, we're unequivocally mothers. We're skilled mothers, but we're unequivocally mothers. With Recruit a Graduate, they're fresh graduates. You're not expecting them to have a whole CV of experience behind them. And so two slightly marginalized sectors of the economy that I really wanted to support. And that's why I started it. I heard a speech by Cyril Ramaphosa about the plight of youth in South Africa, and I was moved deeply in my heart. And I just thought, well, if I as a business owner am going to struggle to find these skilled graduates one day to support my business and keep my business going as a legacy business, then I need to do something to help these kids get jobs and get skilled so that they can be the future of our nation.
Yeah, and that's so fantastic, and it alludes to your passion and that deep felt place where you get moved by this is something that I can address, and there, a whole new focus is born. And I actually have literally got goosebumps, because often graduates hear, that's great, but you don't have experience, and then it's a conundrum, but we cannot get experience. So well done on that. And when did you start with that, this part?
Oh, my timing was brilliant. I started it in October 2019.
Oh, fantastic.
Best time to start a business.
Best time, perfect opportunity, and we laugh at that, right?
Now we do. So I think post-COVID, it's now actually it's actually getting its legs under it for the first time.
It's now been launched, and you've got some momentum.
Yeah, that's right.
So we were talking about how often you look at someone successful like yourself with an established business, and the assumption can often be made, maar dis maklik, kyk net hoe gelukkig is hy, kyk net hoe fantasties werk goed. But then we do know, Phillipa, it's not the whole truth, right? So maybe just, we joked about you looking towards your business as you're birthing a child, but let's just have that part of your reality as well.
Yeah. So as I had said earlier to Lindie, that somebody once said to me about my business, it's like giving birth. Is that you don't necessarily want to go back and give birth again, but you wouldn't give the baby back either. So that birthing phase of a business, it's both exhilarating and exciting, and that's why being an entrepreneur is actually quite addictive. I think you hear about serial entrepreneurs, and it's that beginning stage that is the elixir that kind of keeps us going and really stimulates us. But of course, it comes with a lot of problems and challenges, and you constantly problem solving. And I had honestly thought that I would start a business that would keep me busy in the mornings.
And we were actually giggling about that reality. How's that now changed for you, right?
Yeah. So now I work full time, crazy hours. My flexibility is not as much as I need to profess to wanting it to be. But that's the nature of the business. Is that it's constantly growing and changing.
Yeah, and I often think business it starts having a life of its own. And I think as an entrepreneur, it's that conundrum of staying ahead of the business, but you are being tagged along, you are being dragged along, and it's that typical love-hate relationship, right?
Yeah, they are, and that's true, because there are times that you love it, and there are times where you want to find the boss to hand the resignation in, and you are the boss.
It's up for sale at R2.50. Any takers? I know that feeling, right? So, Phillipa, for all the women entrepreneurs out there, it's. Do you think it's different for us women, being an entrepreneur? I mean, what makes it different? And there's definitely that connection that you can, speak about, I'm sure.
Yeah. I can only speak to it from my perspective. So,
sure.
Some other women might say, no, it's, I would imagine it's the same. But for me, so I started this business 10 years ago. Well, more than that, because but it has been a lonely road at times, because there are not that many female entrepreneurs that work full-time in their businesses. And also, if you've got a business that's rapidly growing, you have a lot of lifestyle businesses, but to have a business that is growing rapidly
on a national footprint,
with staff that you're bringing in all the time to grow that based on demand, is that it can be challenging sometimes to connect. And so I often find myself connecting more with men because they run their own businesses, and we relate on a level of running the business.
True.
So I think that's one of the challenges as a woman entrepreneur, is just finding other female entrepreneurs that you can connect with on the same level. Secondly is access to networks. Men are very, very good at networking.
Aren't they just? And where does it start? Is it the good old boys club, or what? And what do we do when they do that?
Golf course, go and play golf, ladies.
But it's true, right? We were at that stage tending to children. Maybe, we were maybe slightly, our focus was diverted. We were busy doing other things while they were building networks.
Yeah, and I think, we tend to want to go deeper in our connections. Whereas, there's an unspoken understanding from men that when they're networking, this is how it's happening.
Yeah, it's a slap on the back, and we celebrate, and
we
there's
talk
a lot
about
of
business.
But we want to connect. You're right. We are creatures of feeling. We want to have that mojo and that chemistry, and that takes time, right?
It does take time.
Yeah. So when we come back, I'd like to just delve a little bit deeper, Phillipa, into what do you think is important? What are some of the ingredients of your success recipe? And there's certainly, and then what's been highlights definitely for you, and what do you celebrate? So we'll be back just after this.
Straight after this song. Business Lunch with Lindie Malan. She's chatting to Phillipa Geard, and they are chatting more in between while I'm playing a song than what they are talking.
And so
chatting.
You are eavesdropping, right?
I want to find out how you girls do it. I mean, really. Anyway, carry on, because they said they'll ignore me now.
Phillipa, of course, in an ocean where there's a lot of other competitors as well, what do you look at? What is your specific offer, your value proposition? How do you differentiate yourself as Recruit My Mom in the market? What are the things you offer?
Yeah, that's a good question. And so what we first and foremost stand for is a professional service, whether we're servicing a client or whether we're servicing a candidate. But it goes deeper than that, because it's our values around making a difference in each and every life that we touch. And so what employers recognize with Recruit My Mom is the caliber of person they're employing through us. So because you're employing a woman who's had children, is your emotional maturity, your levels of commitment, there's just a different dynamic to what we can offer employers. And they can, specifically for small, medium enterprises, is that they can employ according to what they need, whether it's by hour, by project,
and
whether
that's the
it's
budget
permanent,
constraints as well, right?
Can be. And if they want permanent, we've got permanent. But if they just need freelancers and independent contractors, we offer that. So it's the flexibility that we also offer our clients that has made it so
and you're
successful.
very clear on that.
Yes.
And that's been your differentiating factor all along, right?
Yeah, and thankfully I've been able to back that up with an amazing team that supports those values and delivers that.
Yeah, and I think the moment you say team, I'm going leadership. So, of course, what were some of the growth that you had to go through in terms of this ever-growing team, and in terms of leadership?
Yeah, I think, as I said, really thought that this would be something that would keep me busy during the mornings. And now I'm running a team of 24 people. And they all work virtually from their homes. We don't have an office space. Everybody works from home. And I needed to develop in my own leadership style, communication, empathy, all those leadership traits that we know are very important, but they don't come naturally. Always.
And add to a virtual environment where, immediately I'm thinking they're removed from you. The one-on-one interperson connection is not always there. So that must be difficult. How do you overcome that?
So first of all, we were fortunate in that's the way we started. So from
that's
inception,
all sort of.
That was what we started. And so we do these intentional connects. So if you ask my team, we have these connections. We phone each other. We have meetings virtually. We always have cameras on. We have team meetings. We have coffee connect times.
Oh, wow.
We have lunches sometimes together. My Cape Town team will come through and we'll all have our team meeting together. So we are intentional about it.
So it's intentional, the connection, driving those values, and building the team. There certainly must have been a couple of standout highlights, and I see you smiling about it. So anything that you can specifically think of?
My greatest highlight was winning the Fair Lady Santam Future Woman of the Future Award. we were awarded, well, I was awarded it, I have to say I sometimes, but I was awarded it for the fact that we, as our team, had made such a positive social impact in South Africa.
Oh, wow.
And for me, that acknowledgement of the difference we're making, and together with the Employer of the Year award, in that the only reason why when they give that award, it's for people who are creating employment in the country. And there was a recognition that we'd opened up a whole new sphere of space for women to now participate in the economy. So those are two huge highlights for me in my, if I look back on my career. And then just seeing the ongoing growth, look back sometimes at my numbers from 2013 and 2014. I can't believe, how we've grown.
Yeah, no, that's so important to go back, because that always gives us that sense of perspective, right?
Absolutely.
Where we come from and the reality check. You are a mom of two. Congratulations on your daughter being head girl this year as well. So that adds a complete new dimension. But it's important in terms of my question. So we're all concerned about the future, Phillipa. And are you going? Are you leaving? And if you are staying, which I do hope you are, but that's a personal decision, of course. But what gives you hope? And what is the message that you like to carry out there in terms of the future of this beautiful country that we live in?
So we're definitely not going anywhere. I think my husband will switch the lights off.
Yay! So I'll be right behind him. Just tell him that, will you? I'm not going anywhere.
There's a lot of reason for hope. And if I have to look at what inspires me a lot, it's Recruiter Graduate. Because when we are interacting with those young people, I am challenged to my core how they get a bad rap. We hear about these young people have a bad attitude. They don't want to work. They're entitled.
All those.
We don't see that. We work with the most phenomenal young people. And because they are so hopeful, it makes me hopeful because they see a brighter future for South Africa and they want to get stuck in and they want to make a difference. So I'm like, oldies, move out the way. Let these youngsters who have so much hope and ambition for our nation, make space for them. So in your companies, train them, give them a gap. But they're amazing. They really are.
Yeah, and it makes me think that it's in all of our hands individually. It's been such a pleasure. And I think, what I take from this interview with you is here's a woman that decided that I can make a difference and I can make an impact. And so you are, Phillipa. And like Busiswe, she's the CEO of Business Leadership South Africa, said the other day in a conference, the two currencies that we absolutely need for the future is hope and trust. Trust one another that we can do this, and hope. And you've alluded to that again. So from my side, thank you so much for taking time. It's been an absolute pleasure. And of course, we could ramble on forever. And I wish we've got to get her back. Do you agree with me?
I agree. Once she started the, Recruit My Dad, then we get her back.
Thank you so much. And where can our listeners get hold of you? What's your handles? Where do they contact you?
So first of all, Lindie, thank you for the invitation. It's always a pleasure to engage with you, and I really appreciate it. So thank you. Thank you, Helderberg, as well, for having me here today. The best way to contact us is through the website. We're online. So the two websites, www.recruitmymom.co.za or www.recruitagraduate.co.za is the best. Our handle's LinkedIn. I'm Phillipa.Geard on LinkedIn, and we've got a Recruit My Mom LinkedIn and a Recruiter Graduate LinkedIn. And if you're a Facebooker, we've got Recruit My Mom on Facebook as well.
Okay, so you're right there out on every platform. Thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you, Lindie. Thank you.
Thank you, Phillipa, for being here today. I've learned a lot. And Lindie, vir jou sien ek volgende Woensdag. Weet jy al wie saam met jou kom? Ons hou dit 'n geheim.
Ons hou dit 'n geheim, maar dit sal op die sosiale media wees. So it will be out there, and I already know who it is, but we'll keep it and we'll send it out.
Keep it a secret.
Yes.